somebody told me how much Jay made in 1 month from Steelcase after recommending the Steelcase Gesture. It was more than the average annual salary of someone here in the United States. What's up, everybody? My name's Dan. Welcome to Ahnestly. Today we're going to be reacting to a video from JayzTwoCents. He is a huge tech tuber, and he used to love the Steelcase Gesture, but recently he gave an update about the chair, saying how much he didn't like it. I reviewed chairs for a living. I've probably reviewed over 150 chairs at this point. If you're looking for a good chair, feel free to explore the channel. Just came up with like an ultimate chair buyer's guide for the 2024 to 2025 year, which you guys can check out here. Anyways, let's jump straight into it.
I want to do a little bit of a long-term user consumer report of our Steelcase Gesture chair.
Funny thing there, I don't remember how I found out about this, but somebody told me how much Jay made in 1 month from Steelcase after recommending the Steelcase Gesture. And I remember thinking like, holy crap, that is so much money. I won't say the number, but I will say that it was more than the average annual salary of someone here in the United States off of one product, one video in 1 month.
Whew. Hey Phil, why don't you show them the first thing that broke on your chair?
Missing.
Oh yeah, the headrest. Where'd it go? Now let's go ahead and take my chair. Now I'm size fat. I'm a little less fat than I was at the start of the year. Oh, there is the
That's
first.
a pretty loud squeak.
Yeah.
Get up. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Yep, there it is.
I think that's just a bump stop, no?
No.
No, the bump stop would be in the back, but when you come up, it shouldn't pop like that.
There is a YouTube channel where they show you how to take off the headrest.
That's probably Crandall Office. These guys are awesome, by the way. If you're in the United States, you want to buy a used chair, check out Crandall Office.
The headrest starts throwing itself forward, like it won't stay. Oh, see, there it goes. So now it's like down. See, now it's hitting your back instead of your head.
Yeah.
So I'm not an engineer by any means, but whenever it comes to these kind of tension-like movements without any kind of knobs or dials or a pin to kind of lock it in place, I always get the feeling that these things are always going to wear out over time and just get really loose. So it doesn't surprise me that their headrests are a little looser, or maybe a lot looser than what they used to be. The one that's completely removed, very curious to know what happened there. We didn't get a lot of details. He just said it fell off. So very, very interested to know what happened there.
Folks are gonna say, he too fat, he too fat. It advertises that it can handle my weight, like 400 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it does say 400 pounds on these chairs, which is why I always recommend it to heavier folks. But it also has to do with the warranty of these chairs. I mean, the warranty, you get a 12-year warranty. So why you're paying the higher price tag, it's because you have that peace of mind that if your chair does break down, especially if you're on the heavier end, you're gonna have a recourse for it. You're not just gonna have to throw out your entire chair and look for a new one.
I like the headrest to be kind of right there.
So he's using the headrest in a way that I've seen people do, but I think for a headrest like this, it doesn't quite make sense. So he says he likes to keep it up like this, and when I look at his head position, he's basically gonna use this rounded part on the back of his head. And I get it, I get why people would use that. It's personal preference. Don't let me lecture you on how you're supposed to, how you're not supposed to. But this curvature here is actually supposed to fit inside of the curvature of your neck. And so you're supposed to be able to, let me just do it real quick. Like this, right in this curvature. But Jay, it looks like he has it actually higher up so that the base is hitting his head. And what that means is that anytime you have a headrest or you're putting it like this, look how high up the headrest is. This thing is going to obviously push back. Like if you have it forward, it's obviously going to push back and flex it, which I think is going to lead to a decay of the movement even faster. So again, don't let me dictate how you use your headrest. You guys can use it however you want. I'm just trying to say that the curvature here, I believe, was meant to be inside of the neck. And if it was inside of the neck, then it wouldn't be flexing nearly as much as these headrests will if you use it like this, and it could lead to a slower wear and tear of the headrest.
Yeah,
see, exactly. He's got his head on the back of the headrest just like I described. By the way, this is not me saying, oh, Jay is wrong and he's using it wrong. Not at all. The fact that all the headrests failed clearly tells you that there is something about this design that needs to be retooled or refigured out. I think this is also one of the reasons why Steelcase maybe never made headrests pretty much ever again. They make one for the Steelcase Leap, which is also awful. But you know what Steelcase Leap the headrest can't do? It can't move. It's just a static piece of thing that sticks out, and I think it's maybe because they experienced failure with the gesture. I don't know. This is my tinfoil hat, but yeah, Steelcase doesn't make headrests anymore. I met with a Steelcase rep over a chair. I just wanted to learn a little bit more about it, and I said, hey, headrest, and they were like, eh.
I reordered a Herman Miller Embody.
Herman Miller Embody. It's my personal favorite chair. I mean, that thing is built like a tank. And yeah, I love the Herman Miller. It flexes just like the Gesture, but the Embody just fits me better personally. Love the Embody. I wonder if he's going to get an Atlas headrest.
My issue with that chair was it didn't have a headrest. At the time, Atlas didn't exist, which makes headrests.
Atlas. He said Atlas. Atlas Headrest. So Atlas Headrest is a third-party company. They make headrests for the Herman Miller Aeron, the Herman Miller Embody, and also for the Steelcase Leap V2, or they're coming up with one. And then they have an adapted headrest for the Haworth Fern. So yeah, and their headrests are phenomenal. Just a thing here, right? If he gets Atlas Headrest and he's using it, especially for the Embody, and he's using it the same way he's using it for the Gesture, he might not like it. This is the Atlas headrest for the Herman Miller Embody. I think you can see that on camera here. So again, it's got that same curvature of same thing as the Gesture headrest. And this curvature here is meant to go inside of that neck curve here. But if he's gonna lay his head on this back part here, same thing. Look how much flex this is gonna have versus if you were to put it down a little bit, put it in that neck curve, then you're not getting nearly as flex. All right, let's say I'll raise it up a little bit. Then you're not gonna get nearly as flex back. And because this is a tension-based system using this knob here, you can use a hex screw to really crank it down, really tighten it. I've read reports that, you know, if people put their heads on here as opposed to putting their neck here, then it may scooch back if you're putting a ton of tension on it. So yeah, I don't know, Jay. I'm very curious to know what you think about the Atlas headrest with the way that you're using a headrest. I'd love to see. I'm excited for part 2. If I didn't say it before, the Herman Miller Embody is my favorite chair. I think the Atlas headrest for it is the best headrest ever made. This thing is incredibly comfortable. And again, if you put it in your neck, I think you're gonna love it. I mean, this thing is phenomenal. And if you guys wanna pick it up, links and codes for these things will be in the description below. I clearly need it more than Jay, so I really appreciate it if you decide to pick it up.
My daughter is hard on chairs. She has had like, I can't remember which gaming chair brand it was. It was one of those leather, like looks like a racing seat chairs. Ripped it to shreds. Like the leather was ripped, the padding was coming out. You sit on it and it's like on the like the hard wood bottom, like just completely tore it up.
So this is something that we do see in the cheaper pleather chairs, that pleather ultimately will crack and tear. And if you're buying, especially a budget one like on Amazon, that thing, my brother-in-law has one. And I don't know how he's sitting on it because that cushion is basically gone. And when I sit in it, I just feel plastic bottom. I mean, it is really, really bad. And so, yeah, if you're gonna get it, like, I know that there are merits to racing style gaming chairs. If you're gonna get one, I do recommend dishing out a little bit more money to get one with a really fat, thick pad, one that won't really bottom out. This is why I think like Secret Lab, for example, uses such a firm foam so that that thing will never, ever, you know, compress. But at the same time, it feels like a brick. I mean, it is extremely firm. So if you like that, that might be for you. But yeah, this cracking leather thing, pleather will crack, and especially if you leave it in the sun, you know, let it dry out. That's gonna you know, make that happen even faster.
When I went shopping, I went, what's the difference between a Logitech gaming chair and the standard Embody? The standard office Embody actually has thicker padding, has an extra layer of padding, and a different type of material, where it's more about extreme comfort and support, whereas the Logitech chair has like a copper layer in there and a thinner type of fabric to keep you as cool as possible for long gaming sessions. So
I'm very curious to know where Jay or who he talked to about this, because I disagree with him about his first point and he's factually wrong about the second point. Okay, so to summarize, Jay's saying, hey, there's the non-gaming Embody and then there is the gaming Embody. And he's saying that on the non-gaming Embody, it's supposed to have a thicker cushion on the backrest so it feels more comfortable, maximizes comfort, whereas the gaming one is supposed to have a copper infused layer. It's a thinner cushion, but it maximizes like heat dissipation and pressure points on your back. And I would disagree with that. I did an in-depth comparison video between the gaming and the non-gaming, and I found that the gaming one was more comfortable. And here's the thing. My gaming one is now 3 years old, and it was a regular driver for a very long time. The non-gaming one was brand new, and still I felt the gaming one had more cushion. This is one that people disagree about all the time. Some people prefer their gaming, prefer their non-gaming. We fight about it all the time. But the second point, he is factually incorrect. He says that the fabric is different between the gaming and the non-gaming, and that is incorrect. The gaming one uses a fabric called the sync fabric. And the non-gaming one also uses the sync fabric. They're identical. Now, there is a lower quality fabric called the medley material on these Embodies, but that is something that most people probably wouldn't order unless they're really trying to like save like maybe what, like 50 to 100 bucks for their fabric. So yeah, most of the embodies that are out there are going to have that sync fabric, which is identical to the gaming embodies fabric. So that is wrong here.
So I want the support, not the cooling.
Yeah, see,
So
again,
went with
I
that
disagree
option.
with that. My gaming embody feels like it's much more padded compared to my non-gaming one. And they are using the same fabric, by the way.
Now mine's filthy because of all the time I go out getting myself dirty in the shop and not cleaning myself off.
Yeah, this is the downside of having a fabric chair. They are harder to clean. Booty juices, sweat marks, all that stuff is gonna be harder to clean. Whereas mesh, which is a little bit more plasticky, really easy to wipe down, really easy to clean. It's just one of the pros and cons of fabric and mesh.
Look at your headrest, it's all floppy. Yours is worse than mine, huh? Oh geez. Yeah, yours like...
That's how mine was like a month before it just completely fell off.
90% of this video is ragging on the headrest. Only Jay's is about the chair making kind of creaking and popping noises. So, I mean, does that warrant not recommending the chair? I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about that yet.
A lot of you purchased the chair after our video.
See, he said, a lot of you purchased this chair. Yes, yes they did.
It performed well for us for a long time, but as soon as the problem started, I feel like it went downhill really quick.
So
right
I'm
there.
not, this is where, again, I'm still a little bit confused at the conclusion here. So his chair is popping a little bit, but it doesn't seem like there's been catastrophic failure or the cushioning is flattened or the lumbar is dead or the arms are broken. Like, it still seems to function as a chair. Now, this is, I want to be really careful here, right? Because I am not saying that this is okay. I'm saying, as a matter of fact, it's not okay. The headrest failing, all the chairs, this is clearly a design failure. But only Jay's is cracking and popping. So I'm not exactly sure what he's saying is failing about these chairs other than the headrest.
Now, there's a lot of other brands out there that I looked at that I've never heard of that are in the same price point. My biggest fear with that is the fact that I had never heard of them.
So, I mean, that's definitely warranted, right? So if you don't hear about a brand and they're charging a crap load of money, I plan on making a video about this. That is a really dangerous thing to do. The biggest things that I always recommend that you do is that if you are looking at both like budget chairs and you have the budget to go for a higher tier chair, I always recommend that you start with chairs that have a free return policy and reports that you can actually return it. Because a lot of these companies are like, hey, it's free returns, but when you dig in, it says, yeah, but you gotta disassemble the chair, and then there's gonna be a shipping fee, or you gotta pay return shipping, things like that, right? So you definitely wanna check out the return policy, but I think who he's talking about are probably gonna be like Human Scale, which is another big company, very expensive chairs. Hayworth, another big company, high-end chairs. Hayworth has a great reputation for returns. Human Scale, it's a little bit iffy. Their return policy is not super duper clear, and so I wouldn't recommend them as your first guess. But I mean, apart from those two brands, there aren't too many other high-end brands that make chairs at that price point that I could recommend based on trying them and returning them. Oh, there's also Ahnest, which is a new player in the game. Love that for the lower back support, but it seems like that's not something Jay wrestles with here, and it seems like he'd much prefer a headrest, which Ahnest does not provide. So
I'd be willing to hear any of you guys' chair suggestions because I do have 2 more I need to buy for these guys.
The Embody. I mean, if you're looking for a high-end chair that's comfortable, the Herman Miller Embody. And Jay, if you want to use my links, please do, because yeah.
Now, they do have on their website instructions on how to lube that up. I have done that at home. I don't know how many times.
That squeaking is not cool. And he says that he lubed it up and it hasn't really resulted in any changes. Yeah, like I said, it's not cool that Jay's chair is doing that. But as far as this video is concerned, and it's possible that he just, it seems like off the cuff. So maybe the other chairs are doing it too, but it seems like only his chair is having those other issues other than the headrest. Jay has a pinned comment about the warranty saying that it's irrelevant here. I agree with this statement, but I also disagree. I agree with the fact that having the same failure, catastrophic failure across all of his embodies of the headrest is not okay. That is clearly a design flaw. When it comes to squeaking and the popping, again, not okay. Now, what that insurance, that warranty though, when you pay for it, the idea is that you'll have like an insurance just in case your chair fails. And there are a lot of companies that say, hey, 3-year warranty, 5-year warranty, and then they'll just never honor it. They'll never pick up the phone, they'll never respond to you. I have never had that issue with Steelcase. So when you're paying that extra price premium, you're actually getting in my humble opinion, your money's worth because you're actually going to get it fixed. You're actually going to get someone to come out and fix the chair or replace the chair. And in my experience, it's always been really great. I can't say the same about many, many other companies. I would love to have seen him contact the warranty and seen what that process was like, because if the warranty experience was terrible, if customer service was terrible, then I think he would have had 110% reason to make a rage video like this and totally not recommend the product. But that's my humble opinion. And if you want to see what chairs I recommend, I made an ultimate chair buying guide, which you can check out right here. Until next time, stay honest.